So just thought I'd talk about oneness and just see what came out of my mouth. I was drawn to do a oneness course a few months ago, and at the time I had quite a basic understanding of it, just the classic we are all one, and that everyone's an aspect of us and everything we see is reflected back to us. But over the last few months it's deepened and I'm getting more experiences of it. And I guess at the deepest level it is going into a state where there's no body, no one else, in a state of nothingness and everythingness all at the same time. It feels like everything disappears and my experiences of being in peace. Everything in me, I am everything, is perfection, unconditional love, perfect peace, all those sort of words we hear about. And when I've experienced it, it's incredible. My glimpses of it have been maximum a few hours, I guess. Maybe one lasted about a day and a half or a day. And then as I came back into what we call the real world, kind of see things differently. When you realise the world around us is really an illusion, it's not solid, and it comes from the mind and is our way of seeing what we're thinking reflected back to us. Now I know you know that, and I know it's talked about a lot on these courses, but I'm hoping that on the Oneness course we will release all our resistance to it, because the ego goes, how boring, who wants to be in nothingness? Or somebody else might feel really scared at the idea of not being the body, not being Sally or whoever. But I've played with it over the last few months and it's not scary, and it gives me, I can only own it for myself, it gives me the understanding that it's a progression of not making the world we see so important, not really seeing the world from inside the body, being more expansive, kind of alert awareness, but from a neutral place. And I think as we work through all the ego thoughts and beliefs, we can become closer to the oneness and maybe have these mystic experiences and moments of transcendence more often. But also from another point of view, there's no need to have it, and there's no desire in me to have it, because ego is desire, and I don't have a desire to have ego or desire not to have ego. It becomes a very present moment experience of it just is, and it's perfect how it is. That every experience we're experiencing is perfect. We're perfect. In a sense, we're not here, but from the language point of view, it's how I would say it, that what I thought was me is complete already and is everything I've ever wanted to be. Pure unconditional love, perfect peace, and everything is. And I am everything. So it's a very interesting scenario, isn't it? That depending on which mind we're in, how we view it. If we're in our wrong mind, as it's often called, our ego mind, we're very judgmental and critical of it. And we can say, oh no, don't want that. How boring. No, I've got a lovely family. I live a lovely life. There's nothing wrong with my life. But actually, my experience is that the ego, which is all these thoughts and beliefs, plays a little game with us and convinces us that we need to stay where we are and that this is the way to happiness, to have more money or more things or that partner or the children to grow up or to find my perfect job. That is happiness. But it's becoming clearer to me that there's no way in the ego world you can be happy because there's always a lack. Ego is lack. All those thoughts and beliefs are based on limitations and not unconditional love. And to me, the oneness is the unconditional love that we are. And there's nothing beyond that, nothing better than that. And we can get glimpses of unconditional love in our dream world, and that's very pleasant. And I'm not saying deny the body or deny the dream, but just make it kind of less important, that it's not the be all and end all. That when you leave this physical body, there'll still be the oneness, and there'll still be the essence will still be there. There's nothing dies about us, and we're not in danger in any way, and there's nothing going wrong with us in any way. And we're just playing in this dream world so we can see what's on our mind. And it doesn't matter what it is. It just doesn't matter. There's no degrees of good or bad. There's no, oh, I had a bad thought or a good thought. It really isn't like that. It just isn't like that. It's just an experience, and to push against the experience makes it kind of more traumatic. But those memories or thoughts that you carry about past experiences or fears of the future can just dissolve. They were never real. Just like if you're having a dream at night and you wake up, and initially it's real in your mind quite often, and then as the day goes on it drifts away. So that's how I see it, that those old belief systems that limited you or make you critical or judgmental of yourself are just dreams, and they can just drift away. And at first we've got a lot of them, and there's lots and lots it seems that we have to let go of to be able to be free. And it might seem like that at first, and I've tried every trick in the book to minimize the work and to blanketly release all separation and to embrace the oneness. But even with all the work I've done, it's not as simplistic as that. There's so many ways these limiting thoughts sneak in, and they're just deeply embedded. And so it is a process of letting go, even though it's all in the now and it could happen instantly. It does seem easier for our mind to be able to notice what we're seeing in the outside world and then releasing what doesn't serve us. But it doesn't mean you've done anything wrong and there's nothing wrong with you, and you're not broken, you don't need fixing. You're perfect, absolutely perfect, whole and complete. You always have been, you always will be. It's just an illusion that's covering that up. The veil of illusion that you always hear about. And I see is that we store our unprocessed thoughts and emotions in the aura, these layers around the body, and then we are perceiving the world through it like you would a dirty pair of sunglasses, and it distorts the image and you don't see it clearly, and so we're just polishing those sunglasses so you can see more clearly, and the clearer you become, the more you can see that everything's working out for you. This is a process of letting go, and it's a perfect plan, absolutely perfect. And there's nothing to resist. Ego will keep saying, no, 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 don't do that, don't do that. And if you do get ego saying don't do that, then that's probably just what you do want. Because the ego doesn't want you to be in love. The ego doesn't want you to know your true self. So every time the ego says don't do it, I would certainly question that, because that's probably a really good path to go on. So for me, I don't like public speaking, didn't used to like being filmed or go on videos, didn't like being seen kind of business-wise out there in the world. And I can see now that the ego is just stopping me becoming more whole and complete. And that's okay. I haven't done anything wrong, you haven't done anything wrong. We're all just aspects of each other. So you're seeing me in you, and I'm seeing you in me. And we can quite easily let go of, especially those core beliefs like I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, I'm not acceptable, I'm unlovable. They are so fundamental in the human race. And what the ego belief systems do not want us to address. So they're well hidden, well covered up. Everything draws us away from doing that work. So well done for being here and doing it. Really, that just shows how I was going to say developed, but we're all equal, aren't we? But yeah, it's really good that you're here and willing. Yeah, it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful dance. And there's a lot of beauty in it, and a lot of peace, and a lot of love. So that's my ponderings today. Namaste.